Alright, we're rolling. So in this video, my goal is to identify and explain the reasons behind why I chose to start a YouTube channel. Anybody out there that's known me for a few years knows that I am an introverted individual. They know that I love doing things. They know that I don't spend time on social media. They know I'm very focused, and the idea of me starting a YouTube channel it just doesn't fit with what people know about me. So today I'm going to try to explain the reasons that I chose to start a YouTube channel, and yeah, we'll get through that. So first of all, what needs to be realized is I've made a difference in my life between performance, how I perform as an individual, and also my value system. So performance identifies in what areas and in what environments an individual excels and does best, which for me means that one-on-one or even alone, I generally excel at getting things done and moving forward on projects. In group settings, I usually find myself at a loss for exactly how to integrate myself. On the other hand, my value system essentially places a high emphasis on other people, kind of the love thy neighbor command that is given in the Bible. And so I really, it's kind of a dichotomy. On the one hand, I enjoy working by myself, and it's a very comfortable place to be, but on the other hand, I enjoy other people, and I also really value them and the contribution they have to make to my life and to the world around us. And so my performance and my values clash. So with that being said, that's the overarching reason for why I started a YouTube channel. It's going to allow me to perform it's going to allow me to work in environments that I'm good in, but also to honor the value system that I have that gets me up in the morning every day. So now we're getting into the reasons, the more specific reasons of why I'm starting a YouTube channel. So I'm just going to write the question here. And I'm going to start out, first reason, I've already alluded to this before, is building a brand. I'm just going to, for the sake of brevity, I'm just going to go ahead and put, and so I already mentioned that I've been living a nomadic lifestyle the past few years, and I've concluded that there is no wisdom in simply moving around, and the only thing I have to carry to show for all the experience I get is more knowledge and also additional relationships and connections from different states. I needed something more, I needed something better, and the better part of it was essentially a transferable story. So with a YouTube brand, I already had two things. I already had experience that I was getting wherever I was going, and I had relationships. What I didn't have was the next thing, which is what I'm going to call recognition or identity that I could carry with me. With a YouTube channel, you can tell people who you are, and as Greg Judy told me, he said, nobody knows who you are, David. When you start showing yourself on YouTube, people will begin to say, I know David Goppelt, I know what he thinks, I know what he's about, and if they met me in person, they really would already know me pretty well, because I had established an identity. So, and also another thing to realize is in my near future, I am planning on leasing land and or working as the manager of some farms, and I might just be a custom grazer. I might not even have my own herd. So in that context, I need to own the management. And this was something Greg Judy and I talked about. The most important thing in establishing my identity and having something to move forward with is to concentrate on management. In other words, when I go to work at different farms, if I ensure that I have a place of prominence where I'm managing the grasslands, I'm doing the work every day, I can tell that story in my YouTube channel, how I'm doing it, how I'm progressing forward, and even if I don't own the land, even if I don't own the animals, I've got something very powerful. And another reason I wanted to build a brand is I wanted to avoid a trap that I'm going to call it the narrow road of specialization. So, insanity, as Albert Einstein says, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So historically, I've been solely a production guy, and I have focused primarily on being the best at that, and that's a good thing, but the downside of it is that the value you can possess and give out as an individual is directly proportional to your relational skills and or your relationships with people. If you're trying to derive your value primarily from your technical abilities, you're always going to get paid less and you always will be inherently worth less. It's fine to do that. There's great people out there doing it. I did it before. I don't look down on that. However, if you want something to show in the long run and you want to be a more valuable individual, you need to avoid specialization. That's what our current agricultural industry encourages. It encourages to focus not only on just production, but to focus on production of one specific item. You want to look for a way to diversify into the four different, or at least a couple of the different areas of farming. Y'all are probably already familiar with the four aspects of farming. You have production, it's a little small. You have processing, and then you've got distribution, and then you've got marketing. And so if I have a YouTube channel, that's going to increase my effectiveness right here. Okay, so moving on from that. The payoff is a transferable story. Wherever I go, wherever I am, I can use YouTube to tell my story, and I will have something that I can build and develop over time, which is a management style that I will carry with me and tell through YouTube. So, that's kind of building a brand. I want to establish identity. I'm going to put that word in caps because that's an important word to remember. And I also want to establish, hopefully everybody can see that pretty well, establish context. If people know who you are and know where you are, if fundamentally you know who you are, what you stand for, what you actually have to offer, that alone in and of itself gives you a firm foundation to build upon. So the reality is, my identity development, part of my story, both in the past and moving forward, is about identity development, just how I'm changing, how I'm growing, the different options, different failures, different successes, things I've experienced that literally are changing who I am. All of it around generally a changeless core of values and a paradigm that I see the world through. So, next reason I wanted a YouTube channel was to articulate ideas and then also get feedback on those ideas. There's something about public speaking. Dale Carnegie, the famous 20th century author of a bunch of different books, including How to Win Friends and Influence People, makes the point in his book, The Quick and Easy Guide to Effective Speaking, that a shortcut to distinction is to express your ideas through public speaking. And I'm going to be a farmer, I'm going to be out on the landscape, but if I develop speaking skills over time, it literally puts you a step ahead in terms of what you're capable of. And hopefully through this YouTube channel, I can get feedback on what y'all think, different ideas, and learn and grow through the comments that people will make to this channel. So, that was second reason. Idea articulation. And then finally, the third reason that I'm doing a YouTube channel is what I'm going to call a paradigm shift. Most of my audience probably already knows what a paradigm is, so I'm not going to spend a lot of extraneous time on that, other than to say a paradigm is simply how you see the world. And a mature person is constantly changing their paradigm. They are not locked into a specific way of viewing the world, even though they do have some principles that govern how they think about things and how they see things. In the last 4 years, I've slowly made a paradigm shift from being the guy that essentially did not want anything to do with people and wanted to be left alone, to being what I would call a reliable friend, somebody that was at least there for a few people and purposefully went out of his way to be there. And it's been an awkward shift. It's definitely not complete. I'm an introvert, which means I recharge my batteries when I'm alone. But I've concluded that at the end of the day, instead of when I want something done right, there's a saying, if you want something done right, you're going to do it yourself. I don't agree with that anymore.